Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Saturday, August 27, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you at least 5 betting picks for each game, a team pick, a total pick, and multiple prop bets based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Arizona Cardinals versus Tennessee. The Arizona Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans wrap up the preseason portion of their schedules on Saturday in Tennessee. The Cardinals spent their offseason carefully navigating through a long-term deal with quarterback Kyler Murray. The Titans parted with some key veterans in the offseason, most notably the team's leading receiver for the past few seasons, A.J. Brown. Each team is coming off a playoff season, has veteran talented teams, and have aspirations of a Super Bowl run in 2022. Get set to enjoy the final dress rehearsal before the 2022 season gets underway. Our team pick is Titans -3 points. And here is why. As I noted in the write-up, I do not expect Kingsbury to put Murray or the majority of his prized players in harm's way in this game. Sure, Murray will likely get a quick dress rehearsal, go through the warm-ups, and even perhaps play the opening series, but not much more than that. Arizona is talented but also is loaded with veterans that know how to prepare for the season and will not be put out there to risk injury. Mike Vrabel, on the other hand, is a disciple of the Bill Belichick school of coaching, so I do expect to see a bit more veterans getting some playoff time as he readies his team for the season opener. No, I don't expect Henry to see action given the fact that he's coming off a major foot injury and there may only be so many hits left in that big body. I do expect Tannehill to see some playing time, and the dynamic Willis will certainly get another extended look. The Titans will play this one a little straighter than the Cardinals and should pull away for a win. The Titans had a remarkable season, but after the upset loss to the Bengals as the #1 seed in the AFC, they took a hard look at their roster and made some adjustments. One position they addressed was the quarterback, and Ryan Tannehill is still the starter, but second-round pick Malik Willis is hoping to become the starter down the line and has looked impressive thus far in the preseason with 187 passing yards and a touchdown. And he will likely split snaps with Logan Woodside for the final game. Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league, but with him injured last year, the Titans saw a shell of the dominant run game, prompting them to draft Hassan Haskins, who hopes to impress in the preseason. Otherwise, the offense hopes to replace receivers A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, putting a spotlight on rookies Treylon Burks and Kyle Phillips to emerge as viable pass catchers. Our total pick is over 36 points, and here is why. Both teams have a lot to prove on the offensive side of the ball, and the upcoming game should reflect that, with the Cardinals and Titans driving down the field at will. The Cardinals should find the end zone with Trace McSorley and Colt McCoy finding Antoine Wesley, Greg Dortch, and other pass catchers open down the field against the backup cornerbacks of the Titans. The Titans, meanwhile, should run up the score with Malik Willis and Logan Woodside finding open receivers down the field, while Hassan Haskins gashes the Cardinals' defense on the ground with multiple big runs to keep drives going and find the end zone himself. Our prop bets are: first bets is Tennessee over 15.5 points. Regarding their scoring prowess, the Titans were ranked 15th in the league, maintaining an average of 24.6 points per game. Last season, the Titans threw for 3,418 yards through the air in addition to an average of 201.1 throwing yards per contest, giving them a rank of 24th out of all NFL teams. They maintained an average of 141.4 rushing yards per game and rushed for 2,404 yards for the year. The Tennessee Titans maintained an average of 342.5 yards/game, which was good for 17th in the NFL. The Tennessee offense racked up 973 penalty yards on 103 infractions, which was good for 17th in football in terms of helping out the opposition. They gave away 14 interceptions while conceding 11 fumbles, and they tallied 194 first downs. The Titans allowed 20.8 points per contest, which had them in 6th of all teams in the league. Tennessee gave up a total of 1,438 yards via the ground game, 84.6 yards per game, in addition to 14 touchdowns via the rush last year. They gave up 24 touchdowns via the pass and 245.2 yards per outing, ranking them 25th in the league. The Titans' defense took the field for 1,039 plays, ranking them 10th in football. Overall, they surrendered 354 total points. Their defense tallied 22 turnovers, 6 fumbles recovered and 16 interceptions over the course of last year. Our second pick is Arizona Cardinals under 10.5 points. The Cardinals had 6,352 total yards for the prior campaign. Arizona had 214 first downs offensively, and they were flagged for 114 penalties for 990 yards. Arizona compiled 27 touchdowns through the air and 23 rushing touchdowns. They turned the football over 15 times, 11 interceptions and 4 fumbles lost. Offensively, they averaged 122.1 yards on the ground, giving them a rank of 10th in the National Football League. In terms of getting in the end zone, the Arizona Cardinals had an average of 26.4 ppg. The Cardinals were ranked 11th in the National Football League concerning the opposition scoring, conceding 21.5 ppg. The opposition ran for an average of 4.6 yards per rush on the ground and 114.8 rushing yards per game for the prior year. Overall, they conceded 1,952 rushing yards through 17 contests. Concerning yards through the air, the Cardinals gave up 3,645 yards, which had them ranked 7th in the league. During their 17 games played last year, they gave up 214.4 yards per outing through the air and allowed a completion percentage of 65.4%. They granted 329.2 yards per game, putting them 11th in the NFL. They granted 30 touchdowns via the pass in addition to 10 rushing touchdowns. Our player props are: first pick is Ryan Tannehill under 75.5 QB rating. The Titans finished the season having earned a 12-5 record. When they last played last year, the Titans walked away with a loss by a score of 19-16 when they played the Bengals. Ryan Tannehill, 1 TD, ended the contest with 220 yards on 15-24 passing while his QB rating was 66.7. He threw 3 picks and his average yards per attempt was 9.17 yards. Julio Jones was one of the featured targets for the Titans, bringing in 6 balls for 62 yards, 10.3 yards per catch. Donta Foreman carried the ball 4 times for 66 yards, walking away from the contest with 16.5 yards per attempt for Tennessee. The Titans finished the contest with a total of 353 yards while running 52 plays, 6.8 yards per play. Tennessee ran the football for 5.2 yards per tote, finishing the game with 140 yards on 27 attempts. Tennessee allowed 18 rushing attempts for 65 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. The Titans secondary allowed a completion rate of 75.7%, relinquishing 280 yards on 28 out of 37 passing. Our second pick is Chase Edmonds over 1.5 yards per carry. The Arizona Cardinals finished the year holding an 11-6 mark. In their last contest of last season, the Cardinals faced the Rams and went home with a loss by a final score of 34-11. Chase Edmonds was the leader on the ground for the Cardinals with 8 carries for 28 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Christian Kirk had an average of 8.5 yards per catch by totaling 51 yards on 6 receptions. Kyler Murray went 19-34 with 137 yards passing. He had a quarterback rating of 40.9 and finished the game with 2 interceptions. In the running game, the Cardinals conceded 140 yards on 38 tries, which calculates to 3.7 yards per rush surrendered. Arizona surrendered 14 completions on 18 attempts for a total of 235 yards and a completion percentage of 77.8%. When the final whistle blew, they tallied 54 plays which totaled 183 yards. The Arizona Cardinals ended up running the ball 18 times and accounted for 61 yards, which earned them an average of 3.4 yards per tote.